I really like the Disraeli Gears website for all the information it provides on derailleurs. No advertisement as well. What we've got in front of us is a Huret Allvit from 1958, I believe. It's not the first parallelogram type of derailleur, so by that I mean you have these two plates that kind of simultaneously move the cage here for the jockey wheels and allowing you to go from gear to gear. It's the first mass-produced rear derailleur. So what we're going to do today is clean it up and get it to working again. It's kind of very slow and sloppy, so it definitely needs to be cleaned, and we'll get to see how it looks like underneath. I don't know where to start on this. I think we'll just begin by removing the pulleys. So it looks like it's number 9. Yeah, that comes off. Okay, that's one. This one looks quite nice and greasy, so it's probably protected. It's being protected from all the corrosion. I'm gonna try my new Proxon, or new, bought it second hand, but very cheap though, huge set Proxon. Anyway, I'm gonna get the largest bit that I can fit into here, and then try and do it using a socket wrench. Let's stick that in there. Oh, nope. And I've damaged it a little bit. Right, I'm getting no luck in removing the other parts, so what we're going to do is start to move on, and I guess I'll have to seep some penetrant oil inside, and hopefully that will release later on. Let's get some of these out of the way. So these are the limit screws. Got bushing in between that. This one doesn't really want to come off. We're going to have to use something a little bit more forceful before I destroy the head. Luckily we've been able to get out some of it, so now finally got this off. It turns out this was actually reverse threaded the other way around. Blimey, that was a long screw. Oh, finally it actually comes off. Looks like this we need to remove here, I reckon. Yeah. And that comes out through there. And we've got this one, so that shouldn't be too hard because it was sitting in some transmission oil with white spirit for the whole day. So these are all coming off now very easily. I'm going to go and chuck in all these parts into some degreaser and begin the process of cleaning. All clean. The last process was kind of putting these parts in some vinegar to remove some of the surface rust, and I did make a mistake with this part. I'm guessing it's the anodizing. It kind of melted a little bit. I shouldn't have put that in. I actually was careful with the pulley cage because there was still anodizing on this, and I don't want to obviously get rid of it. On the other parts, however, I'm guessing they were also anodized at one point or stage, but that's just no longer there anymore. To finish up my Shimano grease, this little pot that I don't really need anymore, we're going to use this to begin to empty a little bit more. Now, next question is just where to start. I guess we'll begin with these jockey wheels. So I'm going to add on a bit of grease already. There's not a lot of information on this derailleur other than a couple of websites. I did find a few diagrams though. I haven't confirmed the amount of ball bearings, but it looks like there's 15 in these ones. At least that's what I took out. Now we need to take the cone with the threading. So it needs to go on one end. Let's put it on this one. Then you have the other side, which needs to screw down onto it. That looks okay, I guess. You then need to grab this plate, and there's a flat surface on the threading of that barrel. It needs to go in and seat properly. Then after that, you'll have the flat-headed kind of bushing that we're going to now screw on. I can't remember if this is reverse threaded. No, it's just normal. Okay, so this is kind of acting as the adjuster for how tight this will be. I believe you can adjust it after once everything's installed. So on the other side, you're going to have a very thin washer that we're going to now put back on. Like that. And then you'll grab the other jockey wheel cage, and that's going to go over like this. Now obviously put some grease on these parts. I don't know how many people have this derailleur out there because it looks like it's quite rare. The screw's going to go through here, and it's actually going to seat on the seat inside the cage. So we'll put that through. Now I've actually built up this derailleur beforehand just to test it, and it's nothing short of a nightmare. Could be me, but I think it's just generally since it's an early derailleur, the design hadn't been perfected yet. On this end, you've got a few parts. You'll have this female type of bolt that's going to sit on inside here, and then after you're going to have the spring. So a little tip's going to go into the hole up there, so you need to see it, and then that long part is going to go into the hole right there. Eventually, this little barrel shape, by the way, is going to go into the like the inner hole of this kind of cup, so that it can fully go down like this. There you go, got it. All right. What's really annoying is this part, you can't take it off. That would have been really nice if you could have actually tried to do it. It turns, but it doesn't come off. And this is a bit of the issue with this when I'm assembling it back again. I thought it was going to be very simple. I just stick on the spring, kind of adjust things a little bit, and then just kind of screw it all down. And no, actually, when I started to screw this down, this tightened instead of this part. I mean, I just found a way of doing it, but it's not. I don't know if that was really the way it's meant to be. Oh, sorry. On top of it, you're just getting confused because this way is obviously reverse threaded, and then when you're doing from here, you need to think of that one, and this one's normal. So this part needs to be roughly on this side, if I remember, and this spring, what way is that again? Yes, it can only be tightened that way, so it needs to go on this side. So we need to put that on, and this needs to start being screwed down. Okay, so that goes that way. So now I'm starting to screw it down. Now the way I figured to actually ended up doing it, I thought instead of screwing this part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw it simply from this side and then go until it goes all the way down to the bottom, and then we can put the spring back on. Now for tensioning this spring, the only way I can see of possibly doing this is just simply turning it by hand by pushing it down and then inserting it back into the holes, the hex of the top of this barrel. Anyway, it looks like it's good now, and I'm done. Yeah, it's kind of tensioning, so it must be working. Oh, and on the side here, so these flats, you can actually adjust this with a wrench, and you can figure out how tight you want this to be. So no, extra tight. To tighten this up, I figured that you could just use these this tool for the chainring bolts, and seem to fit in, and then you can tighten it. You need two though, technically. On this end, you're going to need to put some a spacer. It's a larger one, and we can then seat this back on. So I've put the space on the same side as I would have put the other one. Then you've got this bolt. It's a bit weird that this one doesn't have like a smooth edge to that goes like kind of between where the jockey wheel goes. Whatever. Now we just need to put all the rest of the parts back on. You need to grab one of the longer screws. I put a tiny bit of grease on it, and it's going to go on this part through here. Then you have this barrel, and then you're going to grab this part, and I've already put the spring, so the spring's going to be latching over like this, the long part of it, and this is going to go through there, and we're going to be screwing it into that part there. Okay. Yeah. Now before you tighten that all the way down, there's a hole right there, and we'll put the other tip of that spring into the hole. At the back, there's 4 nuts. This is one of the thicker ones. And when you tighten this down, you actually need to do this. You need to get the flat-headed screwdriver in place and kind of lock it while you tighten this. Otherwise, the arm won't move anymore. So you kind of need to adjust it. Now for the other arm, it's going to screw onto the bottom part of this plate. you'll want, it looks like, I think so anyway, it's one of these shorter screws that you put in. At the back of this, I have no idea whether it's one of the thicker or the thinner ones for these nuts. I'm going to put a thin one. Again, you need to adjust it so that it's kind of moving freely but tight enough. So in this position, you're going to grab the plate with the Huret on the exterior, and that's going to go like this. So you're going to get the last long screw, which is that one. And I think it's the thicker nut that goes on that side. And on this end, we're going to have the shorter last screw. So now you need to push this down. And we're going to screw it onto that. Just realized this isn't going to work out. This part here, I can't push it down because now I'm in front of this plate. So I think the best solution might be to undo this one again and then screw that down onto there and then put that back on. That's not working either, so instead of going on with that forever, I'm going to undo this one again. And I'm going to have to try from here. You know what, I've been having lots of problems getting this to fit in. I was just thinking, why have I not just removed this? Right, well, we're here again. So I'm going to screw that on there. I don't know, just do a little bit for now. Next, we're going to, I'm thinking now, should I screw this down now and then put the, yeah, I think we'll do that now. Let's screw this one onto the other half of the plate a little bit. Or maybe all the way. Let's just do it all the way now. Because I think it might be hard to do it after. It might be in front of this. How messy. So now for the spring you need to, I've opened it up so that way it can kind of pass through everything. And now I'm going to take an Allen key wrench, which I should be able to hook the spring onto. Got it. Keeping it open. Hopefully that will work. Okay, let go. Not too tightly, but tight enough. For the knots, I think the thick one, if I remember, it goes here. Done. And the thin one goes on that side. At least there's only a little bit sticking out, so it must be that. And then I'm going to adjust all of this, the nuts and the screws. We can now put our limit screws back in. I think between this one and that cycler I just recently did, it might be the derailleurs I spent the most time on. I just got another Allvit derailleur. I think this one's from the 60s. I don't remember if it's, I don't know if it's the second generation or whatever, third one. We'll find out. Anyway, I've pretty much finished this derailleur now. I hope this was of interest. Thank you for listening, and until next time.